So hi everyone and welcome to the last webinar for this fall and winter. No, not the winter. We're going to have heaps more after this, but the last before Christmas. We're going to talk about how to produce heaps of video and give you all the production tips and tricks we believe you need. So just so you know, this is the fourth and last part of this year's Storykit Academy. There are 4 ebooks and 4 webinars that you can find at www.storykit.io/academy. We've been talking about video strategy, storytelling, script writing, and now we're talking about production tactics. Before we start, I want to talk a bit about what this keynote is not about. And as some of you know, at Storykit, we define video quite in a particular way. So this keynote is not about how to film stuff. I am not going to tell you how to hold your iPhone to get the best video shoots. I'm not going to talk about how to set the right lighting or how to record the best sound, what microphones you should use or whatever. I'm not even going to talk about how to edit your footage or which cameras or tools you should choose, which is something I know that loads of people who talk about video talk about, but this is not what this keynote is about. Why? Because those questions belong to the old way of creating video. What do I mean by that? Well, as some of you know, because you've been with us for quite some time now, many people still think that video must be this. It must be something super expensive that you've set a half a year's budget for. You're going to be super viral and everything's going to happen when you publish your video. Or you think that it's only for the experts who has the super duper expensive equipment that we don't even know how to use. Or at least you think that it's complicated, that you need to use editing tools that ordinary people won't even understand until they've gone through loads of courses and stuff to do that. Or at least you think that it's totally impossible to scale, that video is something that you do from time to time when you have the budget and the time and the resources, but it's super impossible to scale. And that's so sad because today most videos should look like this. Text-driven, super simple storytelling videos where we often use stock images or just nothing because what we are trying to say is more important than what we're trying to show. Why has this happened? Why have we come to a world where video isn't video anymore? Well, something has changed. And what changed? Well, Facebook launched their newsfeed in 2006, quite a while ago. And shortly after, they started rolling out their ad solution. And this changed the whole world of ads for smaller companies. Before that, you needed to have a huge budget to reach the people you wanted to use and to reach. And now you can just set a small amount of money. And if you have the right content, you will be able to reach so many users around the whole world. It took them a while to launch video ads. They did that in 2013. And because the people at Facebook are obviously pretty smart, they knew 2 things. They needed the video ads to auto start or else no one would click them. And if stuff starts to auto start in the feed, they needed the feed to be silent because we use Facebook or different social platforms all of the time. All of these times where we shouldn't, on the bus, in meetings, on the toilet, wherever we use them. And if the videos would start playing in the feed, people would stop going to the feed. And this has changed something for all of us video creators. Today, 80 to 90% of all video views happen without sound. And this is actually true. We see that really clearly in our data. Over 90% of our video views happen without sound. People don't turn the sound on. And this is why Facebook says, this is a quote from Facebook, design for sound off. You need to be able to watch the video with sound off, but delight with sound on. So if someone turns on the sound, it's going to be a happy thing. And this means that the most important factor for the successful videos is the script. And we've been talking about this extensively throughout the academy this fall. So Storykit I'm not going to plug you a huge, this is Storykit, but our solution really does this. We take text, and with help of AI or smart users, you can just create videos that are text-driven and super simple and have loads of effect. And we create the videos on storyboards. And why is this so good for production pace? Let's give you 4 things, and this is just us getting started. That is going to be so much easier if you create videos like this compared to creating videos the old way. Well, first of all, you work in the cloud. You will have no more endless rendering on some computer that needs you to go away from it for hours because video takes so much space. It's also super simple to find things fast. Someone once said that please try to ask your motion director to just bring out the Christmas video from 2019 because you want to edit some small things and see how happy he or she will be. But in these kinds of tools, it's super simple to find things because they are in the clouds, they are in folders, it's just simple. When you create things on storyboards, it's also easy to copy, reuse, and make changes really, really fast because you don't have to bring out this huge file and do the editing that will change the whole thing. You can just edit out some small parts. And this is also super simple for workflows and cooperation. And we haven't even come to the production pace yet. So how should you think about video in 2022 and beyond? Well, this is just an illustration, but today most content in companies look like this. We create loads of content, but we also have some content that is really important for us. Some people call it hero content. And most people do the hero content in video because these are the big advertising campaigns that you want to change the world with. So they do that in video. But all this other content, the blog posts, the press releases, the instruction things, the everything is usually text, the support articles, everything. It's usually text, and we create so much text. And what we say is that you should keep doing these. Please hire an agency to create the gold-winning, super-duper cool things because they can change things, they can move the needle, and they are important in a huge advertising mix. But what you should do is start doing all other content as video too. So tell every story with a video is one of the things we say. Because the secret to succeeding in social media with video is to create loads of video, heaps of video, not just putting a video out there from time to time and hope that something will happen. And we see that many of our customers increase their video production with about 400% when they start using Storykit, which is amazing. But the truth is that they're still creating too little video, and so are we. And we are creating video every day at Storykit, but we should create even more video. Why? Why is the quantity so important? Well, first of all, because that is how social works. If you're out of sight, you will be out of mind. The biggest risk you take today is creating too little content. Being wrong on social media isn't that bad because you can put out new stuff or just a correction the coming hour. But not being there consistently with high quality content will not move the needle because that is how social works. When you publish, you get a push. When you publish new things, you get a push and followers and all of that. And if you stop posting or just post now and then, nothing will happen. The other reason why quantity is so important on social media is that it is the only way to learn what to do. Because you can read every white paper there is, you can read ebooks, you can read best practices, you can ask your peers, you can do anything to learn what the right content or the right pace or the right quality is. But the only way to learn what your audience wants from you right now is to publish and be wrong and then be right and do more and try. So what does your target audience want to learn from you? The only way to learn how to reach out in this swarm of content is to try 1,000 different ways and do it 1,000 times. Those words come from our VP product, Fredrik Strömberg, who is a really smart person and has been on social media and working with content forever. The third reason why quantity is so important in social media is for you to be able to reach different target audience, because different target audience needs different things, and different platforms need different things, and different occasions. You get it. People are always different. Platforms are always different on social. And if you want to be able to reach them, you need to create a whole bunch of content all the time. So quantity is important. And I mean, of course, you shouldn't be doing bad content, but what you should do is try to find a way to create qualitative content in high quantity. So let's go on to the production tactics, because if you've been with us before, none of that was new. But before you even start creating video, there are 5 basic things that we think that you need to have in place to be able to be productive at all on social media. So the first thing is you need to own your channels. And what I mean with that is that you can't have a situation where you get an idea, you want to try something new, and then you need to check with your manager and your manager's boss and the manager's boss's friend and someone from the other team and 3 other people and all the stakeholders in the world, because there will be too many opinions on what's right and what's wrong. So the thing that you get back is just not good. The other thing is that it will take too much time. And in social media, time is of essence. If you have a good idea now, that idea might be too late tomorrow. So you need to be able to be close to your own channels. And I know that that is super hard for people from some huge companies where there are loads of restriction on what you can say and how, but I recommend you to truly try, because you will not be able to be a good social media manager if you can't be so close to your audience and so trusted by your company that you can actually work without getting a go sign for every time, because you will never be fast enough. So that's the first production tips. It will make you much, much faster. The other thing is to scale down to scale up. One of the biggest mistakes we do when we work towards social is that we want to do everything. Someone has heard of TikTok, and did you hear of Clubhouse, and we need to be on LinkedIn, and we need to do something on Facebook, and shouldn't we do something else on Instagram, and so forth and so on, and shouldn't we do things on Thursdays, and we should do things on Mondays. And that is, of course, a good end goal, but don't start there and don't scale up too fast too soon, because you can't be everywhere all the time. So it's much, much better to learn one platform and really master that platform and really understand your audience on that platform. Because when you scale up to a new platform, you will know so much already, even if it's another platform, maybe a bit of a different audience, but you will know how to reach them. You will know how to find out what they like. So scale down to scale up. The third thing is to have a strategy for every channel. So yes, we have scaled up. We have started a bit on Facebook, and we're doing some stuff on LinkedIn, and we have a community on Slack. So you need to set a strategy for every channel, because that will make you much, much faster if you know what your goal is with every channel, who you're talking to on every channel, how you should talk to them, and when. Because if you don't know these, you will just be throwing stuff on the wall all the time and hoping that things stuck. And that's not really productive, because you will not be able to reuse stuff. You will not be able to template stuff. You will not be able to do formats for stuff. But if you know this, if you have this strategy for every channel, you will be much, much faster. We haven't even started doing video. The fourth thing is to actually spread the knowledge of video creation in your company. If you have a tool like, I don't know, Storykit maybe, it's super simple to spread the knowledge of the tool throughout the company. And then you can stop thinking about taking video in-house. You can actually take it into teams or even into individuals. So you don't need to have this very special video team that creates videos, because everyone can do it. And if more people can do it, then more people can do it. So more video. That's also a super good way to be really productive. And of course, just do it. The worst content is the content never made. And what we marketers always do is plan too much. We want the perfect plan for the perfect video. And that is not a productive way to work towards social channels. Just do it. Just get it out there. Better done than perfect. Those are 5 ways to get productive before you've even started creating videos. But when you start creating videos, how can you do this in a really, really fast manner? Because people start using in Storykit, working in Storykit, for example, and they can be like, I'm much, much, much faster than I used to be. I create 2 videos a week instead of 2 videos a year and so forth. And that is super good. But people always come to the point where they're like, oh, I want to create it even faster. I want to be even more productive. So what can we do then? Well, one of the things you could do is start with building your own stock library. And this is a thing that we are doing at Storykit and that we really recommend people to do. This is not just a production tip, it's a branding tip, because in Storykit, for example, you do have all the stock libraries with all the images you need to create loads of videos. But if you want to be fast and create really good branded video, it's super good to have images and videos of, if you're a small company, all individuals. If you're a huge company, at least the selected individuals, the CEOs and the CPOs and the C-whatever-os, because there will always come times when you need an image of them. And if you don't have that, it'll take time to get the images. So what we recommend is that you take still images and videos of these individuals. You can take still images and videos of different situations, people in a meeting, people just walking in the corridor, whatever. All the things you see in those stock libraries where you can buy images, you can film them of your own people. And the fun thing is that your audience will see the difference. It's so simple to think, nah, it's pretty much the same thing, but there is something when you have filmed actual people that shows. Another thing you can do is just film people having fun. You know, all these cheesy stock library videos of people dancing and throwing glitter in the sky. Why not film them for yourself? If you have colleagues that love doing that, put a funny hat on someone and just film stuff. When you do this, it's a good thing to remember is to try to illustrate brand, because you probably have some branding in your office. Let them show, because that will just add to the authenticity. It will just add to the feeling of actual footage of actual people. Do you have a logo? Do you have a tote bag? Do you have stickers on computers? Let them show. And then one last tip that we have really learned this fall, this is inside information from us, is to do super simple footage of individuals looking into the camera, because nothing beats individuals looking into the camera. And our best example is this. So this is Heidi, who's sitting here moderating this event. But here she just took her cell phone, placed it on her computer and filmed herself talking into the camera. And we have used this video for everything and people love it. I guess you've all seen it loads of times. And now we've started doing the same footage with other people in our office, because I have A/B tested footage like this from a stock library and our own footage. And our own footage always works better. So this is a super good branding production tactic to be more authentic and more close to the audience. I saw that someone asked the question. I think we will do them afterwards, but please, if you agree, disagree, or just want to know something, put them there and we'll go through them afterwards. So that's the first production tactic that I love. I really like having my own stock library. The second thing is to really use and reuse content. And people always talk about reusing content, redistributing content, reminding yourself that the audience that you have today is not the same audience that you had a year ago, because people have come, people have gone. And even we also use a trick where we say that it's not the same audience in the morning as it is in the evening or in the afternoon, because people have different habits. So use and reuse and republish your content. But what is this when it comes to video? Well, first of all, create your videos in several aspect ratios, because in YouTube you want them to be in 16:9. On Instagram you want them to be 1:1. And it's super simple in tools like, I don't know, Storykit to do that. So make videos in several aspect ratios and boom, you have already 2-3 more videos. You can customize the video for different platforms. If you know that you have a tonality that is different on Instagram or on YouTube or on Facebook, you can just customize some of your language in the video. The messaging can be the same, but maybe just the tonality, or just choose another stock image, or just use another color, and you will have more videos. And of course, you should customize your videos for different target audience. So if I want one video to be aimed towards marketers, I will have one language. But if I want to talk to people who in HR, I will use a bit of different language. And boom, I have one video customized for different target audience. And of course, you should localize and translate your videos. So we have super many customers doing this in a really, really productive way, where they create one master video and just send them out to their, I don't know, 112 markets and say, go translate, go localize. So what people on the different markets can do is, of course, translate, but also change the imagery. Maybe they have a local specialist that they want an image of in the video. Maybe they want to use palm trees instead of pine trees because of the environment, etc., etc. And there you have even more videos. And of course, reuse old videos. Just republish them because, hey, it was 6 months ago since we last published it. Or just polish it a bit, change some colors, use another toning, just change something, and you will have a completely new video. So this is a really good way to just make the videos you're already making into several other videos. The third thing, and this is important for the thing I was talking about earlier about enabling everyone in your company to create videos. So what you need to do to enable them to do that is to secure your brand, because what you don't want to do is enabling people to create bad looking unbranded video. So in, I don't know, Storykit or any other tool you're using, make sure that you can install all the right elements, the logos, the type fonts, the colors. All of those things that you want there should be installed and ready to go. And maybe you want to customize themes. Maybe you have several brand colors. Maybe you want to have, as in our case, a green theme and a red theme and a yellow theme. Create them so they're ready for your colleagues to just use. And of course, if you can in the tool, try to build templates and modules, because that will make everything much, much easier. And we will get back to that trick. And in Storykit, you can even create tailor-made slides. If you want something to act in a specific way, you can create them. So make sure to secure the brand to enable your colleagues to create good-looking videos. The fourth production tactic tricks is to work with formats. And I talked about this, I think, in the storytelling webinar, because this is such a trick that people often look down on, like, and we don't need formats because we have our very special, unique ideas every time. And that's a good thing too. But what we need to remind ourselves about is that every storyteller out there is working with formats. every TV show that you see is super formatted. How you create video, how you create movies, and how you write a good story or a good book. They use formats, they use classic dramaturgies. I don't even know if that is a word, but we love formats. Why? Well, first of all, it is a shortcut to creativity. It doesn't kill your creativity. It's a shortcut to creativity because it's really good to think, how would this story be in this format? That's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. And also, if you have a format, you can start thinking, what stories do we have that would fit there? So it's easier to find stories and to come to creativity fast. It's also super good for the audience because the audience loves to know what's going to happen next. We all do. We love formats. And it's a shortcut when you know what you want to do. Oh, I want to do this film. And it's also a shortcut when you don't know what you want to do. What should I do today? Maybe one of these formats. So there are loads of reasons to work with formats, and it's going to make you much, 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 much faster. It's much simpler to plan a week of content or a month of content or even half a year of content if you have, like, on Thursdays, I published this interview, which I have this format for and this template for. And then you can just, boom, create a whole lot of them and you are finished, instead of every Monday going, what am I going to do this Thursday? And so forth. So we talk a lot about proactive formats and reactive formats. So proactive formats are the ones that you plan for. You know that you want to send out an interview with an employee every week for the coming 6 weeks. Super easy to plan, super easy to do in beforehand, and really good to just have a bank of them. But you also need reactive formats. This depends a little bit of what you do, but most of us want to be able to react on stuff. So the new news that came out, how can we comment on them? Or the thing that our competition did that we need to comment on, how are we going to do that? Or we won a prize, what are we going to send out? So to have a bunch of different formats for this, good proactive formats is having a format for thought leading materials, for frequently asked questions, person in focus like interviews, doing trailers for articles, and micro cases and tell stories from within the company. They can be a bit of both. And then, of course, the reactive format. So facts and figures from that new report that was released this morning, or what's happening today format, or just surveys. So here are 3 voices about that news that was told. And everyone who creates a lot of content does this, because or else it's impossible to come up with that amount of content. This is what journalists do. This is what happens in every editorial organization ever. They work with formats, they can be proactive and reactive, and then they have space to do those unique snowflake things that no one else does. And we have a bunch of formats. And in the ebook for this webinar about production tactics, we have added 9 different, can't even show my fingers right here, 9 formats that are really good for different kinds of storytellings. If you're a Storykit customer, we can even give you the Storykit ideas for the specific videos, but those are not in the ebook, since we want everyone to be able to have something from the ebook. But if you want them, just tell us. So in that book, there are 9 different formats, and I'm going to show you 2 of those. And we're going to send that ebook out to you afterwards, so don't be afraid. So the first format I'm going to talk about is this. We call it the person in focus. It's an interview with someone. A super simple interview format. So who should I interview? Well, of course, that's entirely up to you, but a good idea might be to interview someone who can maybe tell a relevant story about your company or product, or someone that your viewers can identify themselves with, or someone who is an ambassador for your brand, maybe a very happy client, or someone who is just simply super interesting that we want to hear from. So where can I find these people? Well, the truth is that they are everywhere. But what you should try to do if you're working with a format like this is to try to get a wide representation of various kinds of individuals. This is something that every company struggles with right now. How do I get my representation? How do I include different types of people, ages, whatever? And this is a really good way. If you have a format and you are thinking, well, let's do 12 of these, it's so simple to include different people. If you're using people from your own company, don't just use all those that are always seen. I mean, if I would do that format, I wouldn't want to use me because I do these things all the time. I would want to use someone from the product team that is darn interesting and has got loads of stories to tell, but no platform to do it. So try to find different types of people. How can I achieve this? How can I make this format happen? And this is an interesting format because you can do it in two different ways. The first way is to actually do it completely digital. Just make a survey, ask super specific questions so you get specific answer, and then just send an email out to the 12 people you want to interview. Hi, could you fill in these answers, blah, blah, blah. They send you it back and you have your video ready. Also, you can do them live. You do the interview or you have someone else do the interview. This requires a little bit more time, but as always, the quality of the interview will probably be a bit better. And when it comes to imagery, this is really simple. Just ask them to send a picture. It could be a selfie. It could be whatever. If you're super ambitious, ask for a film clip because people might have something in their phones, or just film something simple with your phone. This is simple if you have that stock library I was talking about, or if you just have your colleague next to you so you can film them. But that should not be a big thing. Send an email with the questions and ask them for a picture and you are done. Super productive. This is how the format might look. Or if you would be a Storykit user and look at our templates for this, this is how it does look. Here, Fredrik, our VP product, has created, he has made up a brand called Health Phones. And he has created these videos for that brand. So the first thing you do on the first slide is to tell who the person is. Try to do it in a way that is like really getting people into the video. And then you do the introductory bridge where you create the connection between the person and the thing, and the thing you are, this is where you need to explain who the person is and why we're talking about it or with her or him at all. Then you add a personal quote, and quotes, as I've talked about earlier in the Academy, is a super good way to connect to the viewer. And then there's some personal details. And in these types of personal details fields, you often just fill in the most important things like title and name, but you can also add fun things about the person. Made his first pair of used his first pair of headphones when he was 5 years old, whatever. And then you do an outro with a message. Simple, isn't it? The key here is to ask specific questions. You want the right answers for this format. And how can it look? It can look like this. So this is the video that Fredrik has done, and this is completely made up. But here he has added all of the things that we talked about in the previous slides. Benjamin Ballesteros. For healthy hearing. I love health phones. If they were real, I would buy them. The second format, I'll just roll through this a bit faster. What all of you should do is do trailers for articles. So what is this? Well, of course, you should use video to drive traffic to your texts. And this is a format when you make a simple summary or trailer for that text to draw the viewer into the text. What text? Well, any text. All of the things that we talked about earlier, the press releases, the blog posts, the white papers, the texts use this format. What should the format contain? Well, you shouldn't try to say everything at once here, because as we all know, if we've been through Academy, you should do one thing in one video. But this is really, you still need to make a point that is big enough that the people feel that, oh, I want to read more. So how do I do this? Well, you have the article, it's already written, so the material is ready. You might want to work a bit on summarizing the text or just do a bit of better copy sometimes, but sometimes you can just copy paste the headline and the beginning of the text. And what image material do I need? Well, if you have the text, you probably have some image material already. You probably have an illustration or an image or anything. Just use that. And if there is no image, maybe for a press release or something, you can just illustrate it with generic image material, or, which we have done a lot lately, you should ask Katie about that, is just use colors. Because in this type of video, you don't even need video. Video without video. Let's roll through this a bit fast. I hate these really text-heavy keynote slides that I have, but you don't need to sit there and read them. You can get these in the ebook later instead. Well, start with the title. This is a classic title. And if you've written a good title for your article, you can just copy-paste it. So in this case, it seems like Fredrik has made up a press release. Health phones acquire German audio lab. Totally made up. And here you need to summarize the text and provide some details. And what you want to do is tell so much that the people, that the audience really want to both consume the video. So tell a story in the video, but you also want them to feel, I want some more of this. And that is a challenge, but it's super doable. So here you in the third slide, or depends on how many slides you need for the summary, you can explain where the viewers can find the article. If you want to, you can just skip that part and go straight to the outro and just do a link in post. But if you want to be a bit more talkative, you can do find more information on this here. And then, of course, the outro. Use a generic message or anything to just inform the viewer. And as you see here, Fredrik has just used like super generic things that he has found in the stock libraries. And since this is written out of a made up press release, yeah, simple, doesn't take too much time to do. So use formats. And I really want to stress on this. And even if you don't use our micro formats, as we call them, just think about formats. What is an interview for you? How can you create a super fast interview? How can you create a fast surveys? How can you create a fast trailer for article? Because that will help you so much to give you space to do those unique things that you also might want to do. Or just give you space to do other stuff and get that video thingy out of the way. The fifth and last production tip that I'm going to give you, we're running out of time, is to work with templates. And now you might be like, what's the difference between a format and a template? Well, formats, it's more of a storytelling thing, while templates are fill in these little boxes and it will be ready. So this is where you can truly hit the ground running. If you have templates for things, you can have a format that is templated, then you can really hit the ground running. It will be super duper amazingly easy for you to create loads of videos in very short amount of time. And it's also easy for anyone else to do it. Like work with these templates. We're going to tell these stories. If we create videos for our job openings, they will always look like this. Then it makes the job much, much easier for everyone, because for many people, it is really a hustle to start thinking about the storytelling. How am I going to tell this story? But if I have a template and if I have a format, it's much, much easier to just get into it and do it. And this is a thing you should use when you want to spend as little time creating those things you need to create a lots of. So templates is good for the videos that you don't want to spend much time on. There are loads of videos that you just want to get out of the way. Use templates. And also, templates is super brand safe. It's very difficult to do mistakes if you have a good template. And that is good for, once again, enabling the whole organization to create video. And if more people can create video, more people can create video. And that's a good thing. Video details that you might want to have in a template is length, styling, animations, branding, format can be in a template, and maybe even the content. Like, this is the template, just change the language or just change the imagery. And with that, I will wrap this up and say thank you very much. Please connect. I am getting more and more active on LinkedIn, which I'm very pleased to see. So please join the fun there if you haven't joined Storykit's LinkedIn already. And remember to go to storykit.io/academy and just dive into the white papers and ebooks and the webinars and everything. And thank you.